Coming up in today's video, I say plus bruh. I spot a granite pig. It's a granite pig. And even more of my blocks have gone missing. How? How does this happen? Hello and welcome back to another episode of Truly Bedrock Season 3. Today we're going to be doing something unusual. But before we get to that, let's look at all the things that I've been doing since the last video. I found myself with quite a lot of free time this week, so I spent most of it tinkering at my base. As usual, I started by emptying out the lowly furnace and chopping some wood. Then I removed the leaves from the tree farm so that I could make some space and harvest some azalea leaves. And whilst harvesting them, I noticed that quite a lot were getting stuck on the walls of the tree farm. So I took some time to replace all of the walls with full blocks. Once that was done, I continued to grow the azaleas and harvest their leaves until I collected almost a full sugar box worth. Due to all of this leaf smashing, my silky hoe was feeling a little blunt, so I went and sharpened it on the lonely furnace, put it back in its home at the moss farm, and then replanted all of the oak saplings back at the tree farm. And with trees out of the way, it was time to focus on other things growing at my base, the first being dripstone, followed by potatoes, and then carrots. Once that was done, I decided I needed a break from the monotony of farming, so I decided to confuse myself with some redstone for a while. I grabbed a bunch of redstone components and decided to make a 3x3 piston door to a location that doesn't exist. And having successfully created this this door to nowhere in particular, I decided to make another one at the other side of my base that also doesn't go anywhere. Which meant I needed to expand my base out even further in order to accommodate the new pointless door. I started by smashing a hole in the wall and then proceeded to dig, and then dig, and then dig some more, and then throw away vast amounts of gravel, and then dig again. And after digging a small continent's worth of gravel, it was time for placing torches for underlighting for the floor that I then placed. And then soon, it was time for even more digging. With my pickaxe just a few blocks away from being an invisible pickaxe, I took it to the lonely furnace for a quick fix before continuing complicated redstone. Once I was fully redstoned out, however, it was time for a couple more little jobs. First, harvesting even more dripstone that had grown while placing all of this redstone, and then adding in a bunch of jungle logs with walls in between for planting cocoa beans in my new hallway. Following this, I did a quick live stream where I did many works at the bottom of the lake, placing moss, mossy cobble and its variants, as well as a range of other blocks. I also fortuned some more ores that I gathered while I was streaming. And on finishing the live stream, it was time to get back to working on the base, when it suddenly dawned on me I'd been doing it all wrong. You see these little alcoves that I've been making around my base? For some reason, since I've started adding more of them in, I've started adding them all with cobbled deep slate at the back. Which is a bit odd, considering all of the original ones I did all had the polished deep slate inside of. So I don't know why I've done that. So now I've got to grab a whole bunch of polished deep slate and probably even craft some more polished deep slate, and then tear all of these out and start again. And with all of those now replaced, I think it's time I went and met up with Slack, because he's got a new contraption to show me.
You lose.
You know, you keep going off and building farms without me, but
What secret base? Oh, farms, yeah, farms without you. Yeah.
You got a secret base?
No. Don't look under the lake, okay? Nothing.
Don't look under the lake.
No, don't. No, shh.
Can't.
Anyway, you got a present for me.
Yes, see, I may go off and build farms without you, but I think of you. I'm just saying. That's for you.
Thank you. A shulker box. Thank you very much. That's nice.
Put the shulker box down and look at it.
It's got things in it.
Yeah.
Ooh. Wow. That's very generous of you. Thank you. Slack then explained that he'd gotten all of this wood from an automatic wood farm that he'd built on the server without me, and then proceeded to take me over there to explain all of the many workings of the redstone, which frankly all went completely over my head as I looked at it and thought, this looks very complicated.
I tried to make this slower, and it feels the work, but it's as we just discovered a while ago.
Confused just by the look of this thing, I smiled and nodded and said ooh and ah at the right points and listened as Slack carefully explained the inner workings of how it all works.
Yeah, but then I think I would have to shut off some of these if I was going to run an oak circuit, or else
Before
they
I
would grab
drifted
the
off
stuff and just pull it.
into a long snooze. Eventually, however, I woke up and thought I'd better ask Slack an intelligent question so that he doesn't realise that I've been asleep this whole time. Does it do dark oak?
No. What? It's not a 2x2 tree farm. What is that effect they call it? What is that?
Favourite Slack. I like it the most. Deeply saddened by the fact that his tree farm doesn't do my favourite wood, I left, thinking, well, at least I got a nice shulker box full of other types of wood. And on coming home, I noticed there are a couple more jobs to do. This dripstone, it grows too quickly, and my furnace runs out of items too quickly, which does mean I now have many things to collect, including lots of iron and copper, which I guess is pretty good news, because it means I can start topping up my jewel boxes with all of the nice new shiny things that I've got. Look at all of that copper now. We are getting there on this copper box. And I now have a ridiculous amount of pointed dripstone, which, when you work out how many actual dripstone blocks you can make, is 3 and a bit stacks. However, right now I don't need dripstone blocks. What I need is something to feed my furnace and some new blocks for building. But before we get to building, I've just remembered that I can feed my furnace basalt, which will cook into smooth basalt, which is a little bit useless for us for right now because we don't need it for building. But I can get lots more of it very easily. Or at least I would be able to if Zap hadn't smashed my basalt generator to bits to build his new nether tunnel. And here lies the contents of Zed Basalt Farm in a convenient box. Which means I guess I'm going to have to rebuild it on the other side of the road. Now, before you all start getting upset with Zap about destroying my basalt farm, I said he could because it was in the way of the nether project that he's doing, and look how amazing this thing's look. So yeah, I would much rather have an amazing looking nether system than have my basalt farm a few blocks over to the other side. So it's absolutely fine. It's a very easy farm to build, and it'll take me no time at all to rebuild it again on the other side. And there we go, just like that, the entire thing has been rebuilt on the other side of the road, and it works perfectly. Watch this, check it out. The salt farm doing very good job. And what's even better is that now I have even more things to throw in my furnace. I've got all of this netherrack as well, and a whole bunch of basalt in here. This is good news. You know how I've been talking about disappearing blocks? I've just come out of this nether portal, and look, there's a block missing, a blackstone block missing from here. How? How does this happen? I genuinely don't understand. Where are my blocks going? This is bizarre. Anyway, we'll go feed the furnace. And here we go, filling up the furnace with many tasty treats. Eat it all, my beauty, eat it all. Yes, you deserve it. Amazing. Speaking of the furnace, you might think, if it smelted all that, how are you still fueling the thing? Check this out. I've still got absolutely ridiculous amounts of coal, because I keep fortuning all of the ores that I've been collecting. So yeah, plenty of fuel, plenty of items. We will have many more XPs in it soon. This is good news. Now, before we got all distracted and started talking about moving basalt generators around, I mentioned that I was looking for building blocks, and the reason is that I want to build something. But today I'm not going to be building a farm inside of my little base, and I'm not going to be building a farm over at our industrial area. And I'm not going to be building a new shop. And I'm not going to be working on the area underneath the lake. And that's because I'm going to be working above the lake. Around about here-ish, sort of. On a new minigame. Now, the idea behind my new minigame is quite simple. It takes 2 players, both of them has a bow and arrow, and if this game wasn't ridiculous, you would be able to see that my camera account is actually stood there. But he's just too far away to actually render in, which is a bit annoying. If we go over, there you go, you can see Foxy No Cam right there. And all you gotta do is shoot from a very long way away and try and knock them off of something. Now, that missed. And that also missed, because I can't see him. And that's kind of the point. Perhaps this would be a little bit easier to explain on a creative test world. As you can see, I am on a pillar with a redstone lamp on the top. And across from me, this time just within render distance, is Foxy NodeCam on a pillar of his own. If I go back a few blocks, you'll see he disappears and I can just see him, which is actually a lot easier to hit him than you'd think. And several attempts later, there we go. First time, and he died because he fell down a long way. So I guess the aim of the game really is kind of like a duel. It's the first person to turn off the other person's redstone lamp. And the reason the redstone lamps are important is because we're not going to be this close. So now you can see there is no Foxy NodeCam, even though he's still there, because I am now 100 blocks away from him exactly, which means that knocking him off is going to be substantially more difficult. And there we go. I got him with that one. I had to aim quite high to do that. But you can see his redstone lamp has now turned off. So I know he's been killed. So I basically want to build this, but a slightly fancier version for Truly Bedrock so that I can invite the other members and have some playoffs against it. But I'm yet to come up with a decent name. 100 Block Duel, Invisiduel, I don't know. There's many names we could come up with for this. But all I'm going to worry about now is actually building it. Make it look semi-nice. So back on the server, I need to find two places that are around about 100 blocks apart for me to build some towers on that aren't going to get in the way of everything anyone else is doing. And when I was thinking of this, I thought about having one on this side of the lake and one on the other side of the lake, but I don't know if they're going to be too far apart. So I guess the simplest thing to do now is just to put a block in the middle of the lake and go 50 blocks out from it each way and see how far away that is. I don't think I'm going to make it all the way to the hill within 50 blocks. No, I got to here, but a tower here might not be the world's worst thing. It's not really blocking anything from anyone's place, so that's one way 50 blocks. How far do I get the other way? And we get to this point here, which is not quite at the other side again. Now, we could extend the whole thing and have it go from that hill to that one, but I think if we go further than 100 blocks, it's going to be very difficult and the game could get quite boring and take quite a long time. So, what I'm thinking is, if we was to go down to around about this point here and build a tower and then do the same on the other side, then we're not going to be getting in anybody's way and we can have two fancy towers in the water and we can maybe add something to do with the water into the name of the game. We've got so many ideas. Invisiduel Splash Mountain Toboggan. There's nothing to do with that. Arrow Shooty Bow Jewel Invisi 100 Block Water Splash Challenge. Yes. The Invisible Duel Water Splash 100 Block Challenge. It's got a ring to it. Amazing. So here we go. After a quick little time lapse, we now have two very similar looking towers, exactly 100 blocks apart from each other where the pressure plates are. So one player would stand on this pressure plate here and one person would stand on that one over there, and you wouldn't be able to see the player. But what you can see is I've added in a lot of target blocks, so if you miss, you should hopefully turn on the lights and you'll be able to see, you know, how far you are away. However, it won't work when there's just me here because there's such a thing as ticking area. But when there's another player in the game, they will be loading those lamps, so those lamps will turn on. As you'll see, there we go. You saw them load in there as they flew closer. So yeah, you'll see the lamps turning on, so you'll be able to judge how high you are hitting. Now, if you've got a key now, you might notice in the center there is a dispenser surrounded by redstone lamps. The idea is when you fall off the pressure plate, the lamps will turn on and the dispenser will fire something towards this tower. And the thing it's going to fire is a firework star. Or a firework? A firework? Yeah, I need to make flight duration 2 fireworks because they will travel just far enough for the person on this one to see that they have done it over on that one. So that's the plan. So I guess I'm going to need some gunpowder, paper, and some way... I've never made a fireworks star in my life. Jeez, only in creative. This should be interesting. So after a quick Google on how to make fireworks stars, I realised I need 3 main ingredients. I need gunpowder, which I've got plenty of from my witch farm. I need either gold or diamonds or something to make it have a nice firework pattern. And then I need dyes. And I don't have many dyes at all. Now, having 2 pillars, that means 2 players, that means 1 person versus another one. It would probably be a good idea to use 2 different colours of dye as well. And I'm thinking, because of the new copper blocks, we should maybe have orange on this side and a cyan coloured colour, cyan, basically, on that side. So I'm going to need a way of farming lots of dyes. Oh, jeez. Well, I got plenty of lapis for blue dye. That's not a problem. And it wouldn't be too difficult to make a clicky little farm that would spread red flowers and give me red dyes. However, right in front of me, there is a dye shop that I believe is owned by Rogue Fox that sells many dyes, or at least many flowers. So this could be our saving grace here and save me having to do a lot of work. All items sold is stacked. 1 dumb! Or half a stack of granite, or a stack of coal. I got loads of granite. In fact, I've been throwing granite in the bin. It seems that Rogue doesn't have all that much stock. It's a very fancy shop. Not much in it. There's cactuses, which is good, so I can smelt a few of those down, but you don't get much for your money, considering it's half a stack of granite per stacked item. So I guess I need to go and grab some granite and come back. Speaking of granite, it's a granite pig on top of the bank. Of course there is. Makes perfect sense. I got plenty of granite that I got no plans for, so I might as well do some shopping. Those and those, those and those, those and those, and those, and all of those, and those, and those, and all of those, and those, and those, and those. So that is pretty much everything in the entire shop bought out except for cocoa beans, which I don't need because I've got a farm for that, and bone blocks, which I'm not going to spend granite on when I have a bone farm. But because I'm nice, as a tip, I'm actually going to leave Rogue 2 stacks of granite because I don't want them. There you go, Rogue, you're welcome. So with the cactus smelting in the furnace and a couple of 2 tall flower farms, I was well on my way to making 2 different colours of dyes. Well, I've no idea how much this is going to make, but I've now got a stack of red dye, a stack of yellow dye, a stack of blue dye, a stack of green dye, a stack of diamonds, a stack of gold nuggets, and a stack of gunpowder. And the reason I've got diamonds and nuggets is those are going to make us the patterns I want. You see, according to the wiki, diamond will give a nice trail effect on the explosion, and gold nuggets will make it a star shape when it explodes. And I believe you can combine them together. And if you think that's a bit of a waste of diamonds, well, that's fair enough, but remember, we're not really using diamonds for anything this season. It's not for spending in our shops. I've just kind of got a bunch of them I don't really need, so I'm happy to use them for something fun. So here we go. First of all, I'm going to combine those and get 2 stacks of orange dye. I only actually want 1. And then I'm going to combine those and get 2 stacks of cyan dye, and I only want 1. And then I'm going to put half a stack of orange dye in there with half a stack of diamonds, half a stack of gold nuggets, and half a stack of gunpowder. And that's only going to make me half a stack of fireworks stars. Jeez, this is going to be expensive. Jeez. So I guess I do the same with the other one. Half a stack of those, half a stack of those, half a stack of those, and half a stack of those. And there we go. We've got 2 lots of fireworks stars. Now, how many rockets do I get from that? So for rockets, we're going to be using flight direction 2 rockets, which means you need 2 gunpowder for every piece of paper. And in order to do it, I put my gunpowder in there with my paper, and then I put those on there, and I will get 3 rockets back for each one. So that's going to give me, wow, quite a lot of flight duration 2 fancy rockets. Now, they're just, oh, that's interesting. Huh, so I got a stack and a half of those, and I got a stack and a half of plain ones, which I didn't really want. Probably should do this a bit more sensibly. If I put a stack of gunpowder in there, half a stack of paper in there and 32 firework stars. Is that going to work better? Clicking through there, and yes, it seems to be. So that's going to give me a stack and a half of each one. Jeez, this is going to cost me a lot of diamonds. So I guess it's good news I got 33 blocks of them and nothing to spend them on. So there we go. After using 19 blocks of diamonds, I have 12 stacks of firework rockets for our game. That was very expensive. Jeez. So now all I need is 1 block of oxidized copper, and I'm going to steal that one there and replace it with a plain block of copper that will turn green over time. It's cyan. Yes, green. That's what I said. Now I'm going to wax this one for no particular reason, just because you can. And now all I need to do on each one of these is put a chest down with the fireworks in and ask people politely not to use them. Now I am going to stick a few in just so we can have a test. I can't reach to put them in. Probably do with a way of getting them in there a bit easier, couldn't I? I smash that to... No. I smash this to bits. Ah, yes. If I smash that... Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Sometime my genius knows no bounds. Now I can put that in there and put in a cyan-looking firework. So this, of course, is the orange team. But that doesn't make sense. Well, if the cyan team win, then they need to get a cyan firework, and the cyan team is going to be over there. So we need to replace this block here, a nice block of orange copper. And then very quickly over to the other side, put in another one of my genius contraptions. Amazing. And now 4 of those in there, and the rest in a chest. And I've just set one off by mistake, but look at it go! It was amazing. It's wonderful. Right. Okay, I should probably remove the pressure plate so this thing won't work without a test. In fact, there probably is a way of locking it all off with a lever or something. But yeah, let's not worry about for that. Let's get Foxy NoCam in here and give this a test. Plus, bruh, don't use the rocket. They were expensive. Literally made them with diamonds, bro. Okay, everything is ready and set up. Foxy NoCam is over there. You can't see him, but you can see the lights are off, which means he is stood on the pressure plate. And this is not a particularly fair test demo because he doesn't have a bow. So I'm going to stand on my pressure plate. I'm going to aim my bow over there somewhere, and I'm hopefully going to hit him off the platform. And I set off lights down there. Did you see how the lights set off down there? So I can see roughly how high up I'm aiming. If I do that again, well, I missed altogether there. Just try and hit him. There. No. Need to go a lot higher than that. There. Oh, I think that was close. We've got a bit of a drift on these arrows. Even closer. Even closer. Nearly there, I think. And there we go. I got him off. And the lights went on and I got a cyan star, which means I'm the winner. And the other thing is, when I step off this, it also means that the rocket's going to go off. And now Foxy NoCam's also... Oh, this is going to use a lot of rockets. I should not have used diamonds with this game. Jeez. So I think in the heat of the battle, when there's 2 actual players with 2 actual bows and they're both trying to knock each other off first, this could be quite a fun game because you're not going to know who's going to hit who off. I think it could be quite tense and I think it could be quite exciting, and it's very, very simple. So there really only is one other thing to do, and that's to create a rule book and put the rules down somewhere and then invite everybody to come play it. So I got 2 books and 2 lecterns, but nothing to write in the books because of course I can't write instructions for a game that doesn't have a name, which is now up to you guys. The best name that I see in the comments is going to win, and that will be the name of this game. And once we've got a name, I can then write some instructions and invite the other players to come and play. And on that note, it's time to end. Thank you for watching today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do leave a like. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. And hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.